Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Fantastic. Little did you know you'd be leading a concert. And as I was sitting here watching, I was remembering somebody else who was a little like you one time. Remember that photograph? There's a photograph that came in the Gita camp showing you sitting a little bit older than this, but playing harmonium. Remember that photo? Yeah. Every time I make that chapter, I think it's chapter 10. Well, we've already celebrated Gaur Purnima, and just because this is the last evening that I'm here, I thought we would continue on the same theme, the Gaur Purnima theme, reading from Chaitanya Bhagavat. There's the next section that comes in Madhya Kanda. It comes after the deliverance of Jagai and Madhya. It gets a lot of attention, the Jagai and Madhya story in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And then afterwards, there's a nice section where Lord Chaitanya shows special mercy to Advaita again. He puts his feet on Advaita's head, and Advaita's really happy to get Lord Chaitanya show his superiority, because it's normally not like that. So there's a big kirtan that's going on. Although Lord Nityananda was greatly overwhelmed, this is chapter 16, towards the end. He was expert in dancing with Lord Chaitanya. Whenever Lord Chaitanya was about to fall, the most powerful Nityananda stretched out his arms and carefully caught him. Lord Gauranga danced in unlimited ecstasy. Who has the power to describe that dancing? Balaram and Saraswati sing his glories to their full satisfaction. Sometimes the Lord lost consciousness. Sometimes his body shook. Sometimes he took straw between his teeth. And sometimes he became greatly proud. Sometimes he laughed. Sometimes he sighed deeply. And sometimes he became morose. Little more volume. You can't control that? It was too loud before. In this way, the Lord manifested his ecstatic love. Sometimes the Lord sat in the virasana posture, and sometimes he laughed loudly. As he bestowed mercy on everyone according to their good fortune, all the Vaishnavas drowned in an ocean of ecstasy. So he's in this ecstatic kirtan mood, and in comes a particular personality, Shuklambar Brahmachari, standing before Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya bestowed his mercy on him. Now, here are the topics regarding Shuklambar Brahmachari, who lived in Navadvip when the Lord appeared. He was always engaged in his occupational duties, and he was most peaceful. Although no one knew it, he was a great devotee. Sometimes great devotees like hiding their greatness. He would take a bag on his shoulder and go beg alms from house to house in Navadvip. He would cry while chanting the names of Krishna day and night. People thought he was a beggar and therefore could not recognize him. He was so poor that he had to beg alms to maintain himself. After begging during the day, the Brahmana offered whatever he received to Krishna and accepted the remnants. In the ecstasy of receiving Krishna's mercy, he did not know poverty. He would chant Krishna's names as he wandered from house to house. Who can recognize a recipient of Lord Chaitanya's mercy? Only one who is favored by the Lord is able. Shuklambar engaged in devotional service to Vishnu just as the poor Damodar did previously. Damodar is explained in the commentary at Sridham. Here, I'll read. The word Damodar refers to the Brahmana named Sridham or Sridhama or Sudama Brahman. Like 5 names for one person. Damodar. Vishwambar bestowed such mercy on him that he could remain inside the house to watch the Lord dance. On seeing the Brahmana dance in ecstasy with his bag on his shoulder, the Lord and the Vaishnavas, all the Vaishnavas laughed. As Vishwambar sat down in the mood of the Supreme Lord, Shuklambar danced, cried, and laughed with his bag on his shoulder. Watching Shuklambar, the most magnificent, merciful Gauranga repeatedly called out to him, "Come, come, you are my poor servant birth after birth. You give me everything and remain a beggar. I always desire your foodstuffs, even if you don't give me. I forcibly take and eat them," just as he did with Sudama Brahman. "Did you forget that I forcibly ate your broken rice in Dwarka? Kamala, the goddess of fortune, caught hold of my hand." And speaking in this way, Vishwambar took a handful of the uncooked rice from Shuklambar's begging bag and began eating it. Shuklambar exclaimed, "Oh Lord, you have ruined me. This rice is full of broken particles." The Lord replied, "I eat your broken rice, and I turn my face away from the nectar offered by non-devotees." The Lord, who is independent, full of ecstasy, and the life of the devotees, ate that uncooked rice. Who could stop him? On seeing the Lord's compassion, all the devotees began to cry while holding their heads. No one knew who fell where as they cried. Everyone was overwhelmed on seeing such compassion. They then began to chant the glories of Krishna in great ecstasy. Everyone cried, from the children on up to the aged. Someone held straw between his teeth. Someone offered obeisances, and another said, "Oh, Lord, never leave me." The pious Shuklambar rolled on the ground as the Lord of Vaikuntha happily ate that rice. The Lord said, "Listen, Shuklambar Brahmachari, I constantly enjoy pastimes in your heart. When you eat, I eat. When you walk about for begging, that is my walking. I have incarnated to distribute prema bhakti. You are my beloved servant birth after birth. Now I give you prema bhakti. Know for certain that prema bhakti is my life and soul." On hearing the benediction Shuklambar received, all the Vaishnavas chanted, "Jaya, Jaya, Hari, Hari." The servants of Lakshmi's Lord begs from door to door. What fortunate soul can understand the mystery of such pastimes? Whatever rice Shuklambar collected by begging at 10 houses was forcibly eaten by Gaurachandra, the husband of Lakshmi. The whole page purport. The Lord, who is the reservoir of transcendental qualities, personally explained through the Vedas the rules of offering foods. Then comes another, the chapter summary gets it. Bhaktisiddhanta writes about the raga mood as opposed to the vidhi bhakti mood that Shuklambar was accustomed to. It goes through the whole thing. Mudras and, sequences of things and everything. He does not accept anything unless it is offered according to the rules, but he breaks all those injunctions for the sake of his devotees. The acceptance of Shuklambar's rice is the proof of this. Therefore, devotion is the life of all rules. All rules and regulations are servants of devotional service. One who is distressed because of this is vanquished. Vedavyas has stated that devotion is the root of all rules, and Gauranga has directly demonstrated this. The Brahmana did not offer the rice with mudras, nor did he even offer it. Yet nevertheless the Lord eagerly ate it. Persons who are blinded by the pride of material enjoyment cannot understand this mystery. Intoxicated by their children, wealth, and family prestige, they cannot recognize a Vaishnav. Krishna never accepts the offerings and worship of one who ridicules a Vaishnav, considering him foolish or poor. Thus, that Sri Hari is controlled only by his devotees. Oh, here we go. This is a verse from the Bhagavatam 4:31-21, right in the text of Chaitanya Bhagavat. Nice. Hari is controlled by his devotees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very dear to those devotees who have no material possessions but are fully happy in possessing the devotional service of the Lord. Indeed, the Lord relishes the devotional activities of such devotees. Those who are puffed up with material education, wealth, aristocracy, and fruitive activity are very proud of possessing material things, and they often deride the devotees. Even if such people offer the Lord worship, the Lord never accepts them. Just 3 more verses for this chapter. All the Vedas sing, Krishna is the life and soul of those who have no material possessions. Gauranga personally demonstrated this. One who hears about how the Lord ate Shuklambar's rice attains unalloyed devotional service at the feet of Lord Chaitanya. Anybody feeling pure devotional service flowing? Stand by. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. And the last chapter for this volume, chapter 17, the Lord's wandering through Navadvip and descriptions of the devotees' glories. Chapter summary. This chapter describes the wandering of Mahaprabhu throughout the city of Navadvip, the various statements of the atheists against Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu's reply, the inauguration of the Sankirtan to mitigate the miseries he felt due to conversing with the atheists, the absence of the Lord's ecstasy during the performance of Kirtan and his inquiry about the cause, the statement of Sriman Advaita Acharya and his dancing, the Lord's exhibition of loving anger towards Advaita due to the absence of ecstasy in Kirtan, the Lord's jumping into the waters of the Ganges, the act of lifting the Lord out of the Ganges by Nityananda and Haridas, the Lord's order to Nityananda and Haridas to keep him concealed, the Lord's arrival at the house of Nandanacharya, Nandanacharya's service to the Lord, Mahaprabhu's secret stay at the house of Nandana, Advaita's distress and fasting due to not seeing the Lord, Mahaprabhu's invitation to Srivas through Nandanacharya and his inquiry about Advaita from Srivas, the Lord's arrival at the place of Advaita, the Lord's words of solace to Advaita, Advaita Prabhu's prayer for the service of Gaura, and the glories of Krishna's service. The house of Nandanacharya keeps getting mentioned, and those of you who have been to Mayapur may know where that is. If you are at the roadside, Bhaktisiddhanta Road, and looking at the front gate of the ISKCON Mayapur temple, Chandradaya Mandir, and if you go look to the right, you go down the walkway till the end of the boundary wall, the very next property is the house of Nandanacharya. It's not the house of Nandanacharya, it's where the house of Nandanacharya was. And it became the Gaudiya Math temple of one of Bhaktisiddhanta's sannyasis, whose name I'm forgetting. And on the wall that's facing towards ISKCON property, boundary wall, no, an interior wall, so there's a temple, a mandap area, and then there's a wall. So in the wall, there's 3 murals illustrating the 3 times there was somebody hiding at the house of Nandanacharya. Can anybody remember one of those 3? Because we just heard the third one. Well, don't blurt it out. You're volunteering? Say it clearly. I couldn't follow. When Lord Nityananda came, he hid at the house of Nandanacharya, right? That's one of them. And then Lord Chaitanya sent devotees to go searching for him. They couldn't find him, couldn't find him. Lord Chaitanya said, I know where he is. The omniscient Lord was showing his omniscience, and he found Nityananda at the house of Nandanacharya. There was another one we heard just the other day, who was hiding at the house of Nandanacharya. Advaita. Advaita wanted Lord Chaitanya, to show his omniscience, Lord Chaitanya called Advaitacharya to come see him, to worship him. He sent Ramai Pandit. Ramai was told, don't tell him where I'm going, but this is where I'm going. And Lord Chaitanya knew what he was doing, and he brought everybody to the house of Nandanacharya. Now this time it's Lord Chaitanya hiding. Well, let's read the chapter. All glories to Mahaprabhu, Sri Gaura Sundara. All glories to Nityananda, whose body is the object of everyone's worship. The topics of Madhyakanda are like drops of nectar. By hearing these topics, one's atheistic mentality is vanquished. In this way, Lord Vishwambar kept his identity concealed while constantly performing Sankirtan in Navadvip. When the Lord wandered throughout the city, everyone who saw him thought he was Cupid himself. In ordinary dealings, the Lord appeared to be full of pride. Even atheists were frightened by seeing the strength of his knowledge. The Lord considered the Bhattacharyas, who were supposed to be learned in grammar, as no better than a blade of grass. In his own ecstasy, the Lord kept his identity covered as he wandered throughout the city in the association of his devotees. The atheists said, "Oh, Nimai Pandit, you'll soon receive an order from the king. You secretly perform kirtan at night, and people constantly curse you because they cannot watch. The curses of the people will not prove false, but will soon bear fruit. We are telling you this as well-wishers," the atheist said. The Lord replied, "So be it. Let your words come true, for I have a desire to meet the king. Since I studied all the scriptures at an early age, people consider me a child and do not challenge me. I do not find anyone to challenge me. I wish to meet anyone who is prepared to challenge me." The atheist said, "The king will listen to your kirtan because he is a Muslim. He does not care for scriptural debate." Considering the atheist is no better than a blade of grass, the Lord returned to his home. The Lord said, "Today I have talked to some atheists. Therefore, let us have kirtan so that my misery will be destroyed." As Mahaprabhu, the Lord of Vaikuntha, danced, all his servants surrounded him and sang. A couple of times the Lord stopped and said, "Oh, brothers, why am I not feeling any ecstasy today? Am I not feeling ecstasy because I talked to some atheists in the city today? If I have insulted you in any way, then please forgive my offenses and save my life." Advaita Prabhu, the great recipient of the Lord's mercy, frowned and danced as he said, "How will you feel ecstatic love when Nada has drained you?" Nada, that's him. "I do not get love of God, and neither does Srivas. You enjoy your pastimes of ecstatic love with oil millers and gardeners. Avaduta," that's Nityananda, "has become the servant of your love, while Srivas and I are left out. We are not qualified to attain your love, while this Avaduta has come and become the storekeeper of your love. O Gosai, if you do not award me your ecstatic love, I will dry it all up. Then do not blame me." Acharya Gosai was maddened with Lord Chaitanya's love. He did not remember what he said or what he did. Krishna increases the glories of his devotees in all respects. They are able to sell him wherever they want. For one who can sell Krishna by the influence of his devotional service, what is unusual about speaking in this way? Gaurachandra increases the glories of his devotees in various ways. Who can understand his mercy and punishment? As the Lord lamented due to not receiving the happiness of ecstatic love, Advaita joyfully danced while clapping his hands. After listening to Advaita's words, Lord Vishwambar did not make any reply. The Lord suddenly opened the door and ran out, and Nityananda and Haridas ran after him, thinking that there was no use in keeping a body devoid of love of God. The Lord jumped into the Ganges. As the Lord jumped into the Ganges, Nityananda and Haridas jumped in behind him. Nityananda quickly caught the Lord by his hair, and Haridas grabbed the Lord's lotus feet. The two then carried the Lord out of the water, whereupon the Lord said, "Why did you restrain me? For what purpose should I maintain this life which is devoid of love of God? Why did you two hold me back?" The two trembled as they thought, "What will happen today?" Looking at Nityananda, Gaurachandra spoke. "Why did you grab my hair?" Nityananda replied, "Why did you try to kill yourself?" The Lord said, "I know you are most restless." Nityananda then said, "Oh Lord, please forgive me. Do you want to give up your body because of someone that you can easily punish? If servants speak something out of pride, does their master take their lives?" Filled with devotion, Nityananda shed tears of love for Lord Chaitanya, who was everything for him, his life, wealth, and friend. The Lord said, "Listen, Nityananda and Haridas, do not tell anyone that you have seen me. Tell everyone that you did not see me. You follow this order of mine. Today I will hide here. If you tell anyone, then do not blame me for the consequences." After speaking in this way, the Lord went to the house of Nandanacharya. Following the Lord's order, the two kept this a secret. Absorbed in love for Krishna, the devotees all became full of distress when they were unable to receive any news about the Lord. They began to cry due to feelings of intense separation. No one said anything as their hearts burned. Everyone felt like they had been struck by a thunderbolt. And Advaita, the Lord of Shantipur, thought himself a great offender. Feeling that he had committed an offense, Advaita Prabhu went home and fasted due to intense separation from the Lord. Filled with lamentation, everyone returned to their homes with the treasure of Gauranga's feet bound in their hearts. The Lord arrived